Hey, welcome to Widow Too Soon. This is Mark Massaro. I'm here with my friend and co-host Michelle Bader. What's up, Michelle?
Good. It was like you were an announcer,
I was feeling some Arsenio Hall vibe. Do you remember that show?
I do. That was just a minute ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm good. It's been a pretty good week as far as my nonprofit really made some steps, which I'm excited about. I got to talk to one of the local churches who they're going to host a big event for me. They're going to advertise it on the radio and just a lot of great things going on. And I had another group up in Washington. Well, I'm in Washington, but further north, like 3 hours near Seattle.
Even more in Washington.
Even more. They're hiring me for like a silent auction event to be their main speaker for their nonprofit. And like things are going.
Michelle is not being auctioned, just to be clear.
No, I'm not being auctioned. Oh my goodness. That's so
She's going to
funny.
speak for the auction.
I'm going to speak.
That's so awesome.
I know. I'm so excited about that. Just a lot of stuff going on. And I have an event next Saturday for anybody grieving, where it's going to be like, I'll share my story and then we're going to break into small groups and they'll be able to like really build that community and talk. And so I'm just really excited. Like God's doing huge things.
Yes.
I get to go to the Louis Palau Center, or it might be called something, Louis Palau something. So he's like a big evangelist who lives in the area. He passed away last year. I'm going to go meet with them just to get ideas on how to build a nonprofit and what they did. Just like tons of connections, just connected with so many widows lately and just loving what I'm doing. In addition, my son got a job. Awesome. Hayden got a job at Mod Pizza. Super excited about that. Yes. So he last summer worked for Dairy Queen, like super briefly.
I remember that.
Wasn't the best work environment. And he just got hired at Mod, which I love Mod Pizza. So I'm super excited about that.
Is it Mod like they modify, like you can do whatever you want kind of a thing?
Do you not know Mod Pizza?
No, I don't know Mod Pizza.
It stands for Made on Demand. So it's just like Subway, but it's pizza.
Okay.
You go in there like, I want that. I want that. I want that. It's really fun.
Oh, love it. Cool.
Yeah. So love that place. And it's like a couple minutes from our house. So that was super, super exciting. And it's like less than a month till he graduates. So I got out all his like announcements this week while I'm working on them and just going towards all that graduation stuff. And yeah, so it's been a pretty exciting time.
Amazing.
Yeah. So what about you? What's been going on with you?
I just want to say congratulations and praise God. He is really blessing your ministry. And I love it because I know your heart for this and I know how much you want to help people. And
thank you.
God's going to do it through you. And I just love it. So you guys pay attention. Michelle's little now. She's about to be big. You can hear her all over the place.
I don't want to get big.
She's going to be on billboards everywhere.
No, I want to be that kind of big, but not like big, like a big person, I do go running and work out and try to eat not so horribly.
I'd like to be a little bit bigger. I wish I was a little bit taller.
I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl. No, I don't wish that. And I could call her. I wish I was a rabbit in a hat with a
and a 6'4" Impala.
That's what I was thinking. Wow.
Good times.
I know, good times.
So see, we're educating you all. Actually, I know there's some people in particular that knew that. Right. But anyways, so yeah, things have been great for me.
Yeah, what's going on in Tennessee? I'm gonna do it every
Oh, and by the way,
in Tennessee.
Who did I say? I said that it was I was wrong. Yeah. I forgot who I said it was, and I remembered when I listened back that it was Arrested Development.
Yeah,
I said it was Color Me Bad, or that I thought it was, but it was Arrested Development. I was way off with Color Me Bad, but anyways, another little bit of useless information for the audience there. So, yes, there's a lot of joy in my life right now. So much, and it feels great. It's like the Lord is just doing something very, very special in my life. And, it's incredibly, relieving. It's like this time of restoration in my life and, redemption. And it's just been great. So I'm still, eating super healthy and, nice. I've lost like 14 pounds.
Whoa, nice job.
Okay. So this is kind of crazy. So I don't know. I just wanted to try it because it comes with my gym membership. I stood in a tanning booth. Have you ever done that?
I don't know. Stood in one, so like the ones where you lay down.
Farmer's tan on my, this was like a stand-up one. Okay. I have this farmer's tan on my arm because I always wear t-shirts, and I don't like go around shirtless. So So I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool, whatever. Like it comes with my membership, like I'll try it, you know? Oh my gosh, it was the weird, like I felt so, it was like, I almost like just pushed my way out of there because it felt so
Were you
like
claustrophobic?
a little bit, because you walk into this room and it's like you're surrounded, like
Okay.
you can't even reach your hands out like 12 inches without touching
Oh.
like all these light bulbs. There's this huge fan on the ceiling. And I'm just standing there like, because it'll turn on in 3 minutes. So you go and you know, get ready or whatever. And there's like, so there's a little room that you know, get undressed in essentially.
Mhm.
And then you step back into like the tanning room. And so I go in there and I'm like standing there waiting. I'm like, she said 3 minutes. Like it's definitely been more than 3 minutes. I'm just like standing there and nothing's happening. And I'm in there for like 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, what is going on? And I look over at the wall and there's this green and red switch. And I'm like, oh, I think I have to hit start. And it's just like, as soon as I hit it, it's like, burn, like the super loud fan and all these lights, like super bright.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's funny now, but when I was in it, I was like, what the heck is happening? So
Oh my
anyways, I know
gosh.
it's like, you know, not as funny not being the one that was in there, but I was like, this is weird. I don't know. And I ended up like looking into it later and saw that like it's not super good for you, you
Not
know.
really.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that, you know, but
Yeah.
so I'm not going to do it anymore. But it was like, it was really strange. So
An
I'm sure the
experience.
audience needed to know that.
They did. They
You know,
did.
it's good information, but no. Actually, and then the other thing is I went to Gatlinburg today, which is in Tennessee, of
Gatlinburg.
course, and it's in the general area, I believe, as like Dollywood.
Nice.
Which if you haven't heard of that, which I hadn't before I moved here, it's kind of like Disneyland.
Oh, I want to go there. Mhm.
But it's, you know, Dolly Parton. I also learned from my neighbor that you do not say anything bad about Dolly Parton in
Oh.
Tennessee. Just so you know, if you ever visit Tennessee, don't ever say anything bad about Dolly Parton.
Interesting.
I heard you get beat up for that sort of thing.
Well, there's a movie called Christmas in Dollywood. I think Luke's last Christmas we watched that. I'm like, will you watch this with me? He's like, okay. So that's how I know all about Dollywood.
Really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Christmas
So
in Dollywood.
anyways, yeah, Christmas in Dollywood.
You'll have
So
to watch
maybe
it
we'll
this
do
coming year.
maybe you'll be big enough that we'll do an episode
Yeah.
live from Dollywood.
That was-
So today,
Wait,
we
can I
are
say
covering
one more thing?
no.
Because I forgot.
Okay.
You run the show or something?
Fine.
We run it. Okay. I realized that I didn't talk about Mother's Day and I want to talk about some things my kids did for me.
Oh
They were
yeah,
really,
of course. I'm
really
sorry. I was just joking.
special. Went out to lunch with my mom, my parents, and my kids, and that was good. And I was like, my kids didn't get me anything, but they did later. My oldest son Hayden made me the most beautiful video. And it
Nice.
was all about how I'm his rock and how it must be hard not having his dad here to help and how I have to make all the decisions. It was a really beautiful video. And then he put like pictures together and stuff. So that was really special. I was like, hey, can I post that? He goes, absolutely not. You can't post it. You know, it was like private, but I was like, I just want to show everyone it's so beautiful. He's like, no. So I didn't post it. And then my daughter Haley made this, I don't know how to explain. She called it a book nook or something. It's like this little, like it was made out of cardboard with like a picture she made of me and her, and it goes in between your books on your bookcase. So it was super cute. Or it's called book something. And then Peyton wrote me a letter. So it was sweet. Like in the beginning, like they didn't really show me that. And then my favorite part of the day was because of donations I've had to Widow Goals. Haley and I think I talked about this last week that we're going to do it. We were able to go deliver gift baskets to 6 widows in our area, and only 2 were home. And the last one we talked to, she just started crying as soon as she answered the door and I handed her a gift. And then she just talked about her grief and how that's just meant to her. And it was just beautiful. Like when I did that, I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. Like, I love this. And with the meeting with the church I went to earlier this week, they said they want to provide all the gift baskets. So that's awesome. So I'm just so
That's
excited.
amazing.
I really I'm passionate about doing holidays because I know how hard they can do, how hard they can be. And like, I heard about another organization, Valentine's Day, they gave flowers to widows. And so I was like, next year I want to do that. Like I have all these ideas now from doing this holiday that like, I'm thinking about other ones that what I could do and making it special. And now that having donations from churches, like, wow, like this year was 6. I predict next year is going to be like over 100, you know, if I have help to help me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll have, you know, hopefully volunteers in the area to help. So anyways, just want to share about Mother's Day. And I hope you all had a wonderful Mother's Day, even though I'm sure you had a little bit of grief, but that someone in your life made it special. So how about you? Like, how was that? I know you were going to be busy and all that stuff.
I agree with everything you said for starters. It was actually a really nice day. I got to talk. I got to talk to my mother-in-law.
Nice.
I got to talk to my mom.
Good.
I reached out to, Lacey's aunts. One of her aunts, she's like really, well, they both are really sweet. They both mean a lot to me, but just one in particular I'm thinking of. I don't want to say her name for privacy purposes, but she never had children. And so it was very important but she was always very involved in the kids' lives, and Lacey and her brother. And so, Lacey used to call her every Mother's Day and just, extend to her, happy Mother's Day. And she's an amazing, she's been so good to me. And I love her a lot, but so I wanted to like continue that on. And so I got a chance to call her, and
that's so good.
It seemed like it touched her a lot, which really, which was really nice for me too, to kind of carry on that legacy for Lacey,
Yeah.
And it was a good day. It was a good day. I had a lot of, just honestly, I'm more like grieved for other people.
Right.
My kids didn't seem to have any issues, and I felt bad for my mother-in-law, of course, that like Lacey wasn't there to call her today, and things like that. But talked to my mom for a bit, and thanks for asking. It was actually much better than last year.
Good. I know we both
last
had a
Mother's
hard time
Day. Yeah,
last
I
year.
had to walk out
remember.
of church.
Oh, that's right.
I was in the middle. It was probably 3/4 of the way through the service. I had to walk out because I was like falling apart.
Yeah.
They were talking about how important mothers are, how great they are, and all these other things. And it just really felt really sad. It really got to me.
Right. So great to see the growth and like the healing. And something I wanted to do something for my mother-in-law. So this just might give other people ideas. And then it just came to me, like, I have hundreds of videos on my phone of Luke, her son, that she's never seen. So I said, happy Mother's Day. I think you'll enjoy these videos that you've never seen. I sent her like 20 videos.
Wow.
And she said, I'm going to watch it. I'm not at home. I want to cry by myself. And then later she was like, thank you so much. That meant so much.
Oh, so that's awesome.
Just an idea. If you ever want a gift for the parents of your spouse or anyone close to them, like they haven't seen, like, I love when I see pictures and videos of Luke that I've never seen. If someone's like, hey, I have this. And so I knew on my phone, there's many that I never posted or she's never seen. And so it made her day. And so it's just an idea for other people as well.
That's amazing. And that you just reminded me of that, because I think I've mentioned it to my mother-in-law here or there, but and actually today is her birthday, by the way.
Oh,
happy birthday if you're listening.
Happy birthday.
I plan on calling her in a bit. I've just been busy all day.
Good.
And they're 3 hours behind me, so I always have that window.
Yeah.
But that's super cool. And I actually realized that I probably have a bunch of videos that she hasn't seen. So that's a great idea. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. All right. You want to know what we're doing?
Yes. I'm moving on to what we are doing. So we have noticed that you guys loved every time we've talked about dating.
That's right.
It is our second most popular episode, right? Is the dating is not a 4-letter word. Right. And yet it is the 25th one that we recorded. Right. So, anyways, I think it's on track to eventually be the #1 most listened to. So we, just kind of wanted to give you guys what you're interested in hearing.
That's right.
So we have sort of a 3-part series coming up that, and I have to scroll down to remember. Do you remember the guy's name that wrote the article? I already forgot.
Joseph Sumter.
Joseph Sumter. So I found this online, and I just thought this would be really great to share with all you guys. So the title of today's episode is Signs That a Widow is Ready to Date Again. And so we just kind of wanted to talk about that. There are some specific ones they have on here. So we're going to kind of go through them and also add our 2 cents where applicable. So, what do you think, Michelle? What do you think are some signs that a widow is ready to date again? So to anybody listening, take it from this perspective. Somebody that's listening, that's wondering, how do I know if I'm ready to date again?
Right. I think I feel like I just talked about this on a TikTok. I think I did. I think when it's like, this is not on the list. I'm just going to talk. When it's
winging it.
debilitating to like when the thought of your husband or wife, late spouse, doesn't make you curl up in the fetal position, and like when it's like not an overwhelming pain and you're ready to be happy again and you're ready to, I don't know, I literally like it was an overnight thing for me, like literally boom, I think it was 4 or 5 months, and I just woke up and I was like, I can talk to men again. That's an interesting thought. Like, because you're married and you block that part off for so long. Like you're just,
Mhm.
with your spouse and you don't even think about another person. And even after he died, I remember people saying stuff to me and I was like, I don't want to date anybody. Like, I only
Mhm.
want Luke. That's it. I don't, if a thought would make me sick to my stomach. And
Mhm.
then literally one day I woke up and I was like, that might be kind of interesting. I think I'm ready. But I was
Mhm.
ready. So it was an overnight thing for me, but it was a very slow process. Like
Right.
I had guy friends that I hadn't talked to in years, that I started texting, no talking on the phone, just started with texting. And that was my very slow process. And even somebody wanted to meet up and I'm like, nope, or talk on the phone. Nope, wouldn't do it. I would
Mm.
only text. It's funny to me now that I was like, no, you can't hear my voice. And I do remember the first one I talked to, I was like, it feels like I'm cheating. He's like,
Mm.
no, you're not cheating. I'm like, it just feels like it. And it was like this process of like feeling. So I guess it was like a boom overnight thing for me, but then a process. And it was at the point where I was ready to like move forward, not moving on, move forward. And remember, everyone's timeline is different. Mark and I both had anticipatory grief when you know someone's passing away. So we may have been ready at an earlier point than someone else. So if you're like years into this and you're like, I don't feel like that yet, it's okay. Like there's
Mhm.
no timeline in grief. And so I don't know that it was any one specific thing, but I just had this desire in my heart for companionship again. And
Mm.
like
Mhm.
I would like to see like what it's like again. And then I remember this like very insecure phase I went through, like, do I still got it? Because you're married for, what I'm saying? Like, I know we've had this conversation before where you're just like, I'm married for so long and they love you for who you are and all these things. And, the last time we dated, we were in our 20s. I mean, I'm still 29, so it wasn't
Yeah.
much different.
Yeah.
It's not like I had more lines and all of that stuff from getting older. And that for me was the biggest thing. Like, I have lines, I'm older, like no one's gonna love me. It was weird. I don't know. I went through a lot of weird phases. But
Well, we went through a weird phase of life,
that's true.
you know?
Yeah, that's true. And so for me, I went through this weird insecure phase of like, am I still attractive? Do I, whatever. But as I started talking to more people and like my confidence grew in that, my confidence grew in who I am again, because you're figuring out who you are. Who am I in the
Mhm.
dating world? I mean, that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah. There's internet dating now and all
Yeah,
these
like
other,
what's this?
yeah.
Which, oh boy, that's a whole animal in its own.
Oh
Like,
boy.
oh boy, internet dating. Yeah.
Good
Oh,
times.
good
We
times.
should
Good
do a whole
times.
episode on
Oh my
that.
goodness. We could have some fun. We should have people like write in with some of their stories. We would
Oh, I
get,
got a lot
oh, yeah,
just
me
on my
too.
own.
I know.
You know,
Right?
either you know, like I had a couple of fake people. I mean, mine aren't like good stories. Mine are like fake people or like, people that, want money or that, you
Oh,
know,
right.
the man hitting me up telling me that I'm the perfect spooning
That's
size.
the best story. I mean,
He's
I'm
like, you are
sorry.
just like the perfect spooning size. I'm like,
Oh my
thank
word.
you.
Wow. Just wow. Just wow.
So yeah, I'm kidding. There's many better stories out there than mine, but anyways, that's not what we're talking about.
I
So
was way off
yes.
topic, but that's a little bit about signs that I knew I was ready to date. Where the thought of Luke didn't make me like I wasn't consumed with grief. I guess that's it. I wasn't
Mm,
consumed. Yes, I still had grief, but I was not consumed like I was the first few months where he was literally all I could think about and be
yeah.
sad about and all of that stuff. What about for you? What do you think have
So
been signs for
yeah,
you?
I think all that stuff you said is great and very true. And there are just so many things to know. So there's so many things to say about the way that you and I lost our spouse.
Right.
So I I felt like I lost Lacey way before she'd actually died.
Right.
And I've talked about that before because I did lose her way before that. And so the desire for companionship came pretty quickly for me.
Right.
You know, the not wanting to be alone, but I also had these huge, you know, I was like, Lacey set the bar so high
Right.
that I'm never going to find anybody good enough. You know, my dog's trying to catch a fly in the background. Sorry, it was distracting to me. She like just rolled over.
What is she doing?
So, you know, to me, it was scary. It was scary, the idea of being vulnerable, because I'm very much a one woman kind of man. And so
I thought you were a player.
I'm not a player. I just crush a lot.
Oh, wait. I want to hear, wait. And the next line is, oh, I don't know.
Actually, I don't know the next line to that song, believe it or not.
Not a player. Anyway, sorry.
So no, that's okay. I'm very much a one woman man. And so, you know, I didn't want to just date around, you know,
Right.
I wanted to find somebody amazing, fall in love, and get married again.
Yeah.
But I found that to be rather difficult for many reasons. You know, and I could just sum it up by saying I wasn't ready. That'd probably be the simplest way to say it. So, you know, thinking that you're ready and being ready might be two different things. I'm in a very different place now.
Right.
But, you
So
know,
what made you, you know, kind of digging a little deeper for our listeners into like, basically you weren't ready. What made you realize you weren't ready? Like what about it was that you weren't ready?
Just, it caused a lot of grief for me.
Yeah.
It caused a lot of grief. There were a lot of things that I saw and didn't like. Like for no reason, nobody's fault.
Right.
But like, you know, it was hard for me seeing somebody else hanging out with my kids.
Right.
Even though I loved it for them and they were having a good time,
it's great.
You know, it wasn't, it didn't feel fair to Lacey, you know?
Right.
And so there were a lot of things, honestly, it'd be a whole episode of like getting into, and that's, you know, for the sake of other people's privacy, I'm not going to get into that, but, it just wasn't right for me at that time. So, you know, but the interest has been there for me for a long time, of having companionship and finding somebody. But, you know, I've also had promises from God that I've tried my best to hold on to, but I just kept thinking God needed my help. You know, and so I was trying to speed along the process, so to speak. You know, I've kind of come back to like putting it in God's hands.
Right.
Which has been a huge blessing in a remarkable amount of ways. So going off of this list were some of the things that I wanted to mention. So the first thing it says, they're ready to smile again. Like if you're ready to smile again, I don't agree with that. I was ready to smile again, like before right dating, after I lost her, you know, like, so I'll skip on to the next one, because I think this is an important one. If you're interested in meeting new people, like, so if you have the interest to start dating again, I'd say that's a pretty good sign, you know? Exactly. You might be waiting for the exact right kind of person. You might be super picky. And that's all okay, because, you know, I know a lot of people that lost their spouse did not have great marriages. I did. I had an excellent marriage. So I knew I was looking for qualities similar to Lacey's, because that's what I fell in love with. Why wouldn't I look, you know, a lot of people are like, you know, just, you have to understand that, you know, people are not Lacey or whatever. And I'm like, you know, now I realize that it's like, no, like, that's what I want. That's what I loved. I loved Lacey's qualities. I loved her heart. Like, why would I not want to look for those things again? And then, so I'll list a couple more, and then you can kind of jump in and talk about any of these you want, but I just want to be able to go through them so people know what they are. If you talk about your partner less and less, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a natural thing. It's a moving forward kind of action that allows you to not talk about them so much, because your heart isn't hurting as bad anymore. True. So you can get to a place where you don't feel like you need to talk about it as much. That being said, for me, Lacey was 17 years of my life. So, I mean, that's almost half my life.
Your math's off a little bit.
I said almost. Come on, give me some slack here.
It would take like how many years? 8?
It would have taken
Wait.
another 6 years for it to be half my life,
Okay.
but I was 3 years away from it being half my life.
Okay.
Something like that, right? I don't know. Whatever. Just let me have it. It was
Okay,
it was
you can have
okay. It was 2/5. Is that better?
Yes.
2/5 of my life.
Yes. Anyways, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's
Just,
okay.
no.
So, but a lot of my stories involve Lacey, of course, and I want to
Right.
tell those stories. But if you don't feel the need to talk about them so much, that might be a sign you're ready. If you're ready to talk about your feelings, you might be ready. A lot of people, myself included, and I'm sure you too, it was like, you kind of pull back and you don't want to it's kind of hard to talk about what you're really feeling sometimes because you're afraid
Right.
that people aren't ready to hear what you're really feeling.
Right. It's a lot sometimes.
So, and then I'll say one more and kind of give you a chance if you want to comment on any of that. If you've stopped living in the past, and I think we could go pretty deep into that, but what are your thoughts on some of those things, if any?
I
know you got thoughts.
I do have a lot of thoughts. Stop living in the past. Like there was a point where I looked around my room and it was like, this is a shrine to Luke. Like there were pictures everywhere. Because after he died, I put up tons and tons, like more than I already had up. And then I realized like, this is my past and that's okay. And like when I moved, I only put up like some of them again. And now I'm starting like in my room, I have tons of pictures of Joel on the wall and like kind of moving forward with that. But I was living in the past where you're constantly like wishing you were in that time. But when you're able to be like, that was a great time, and you can look back on it with fond memories. And instead of like, I guess it's, looking back on it with memories instead of like being in the moment and being like so sad. Of course, we're sad and we miss them. This isn't the life we would have ever chose, but we're not living in that anymore. So I think that's a really, really good one, that to stop living in the past. I know sometimes something I struggle with dating is fear of loss again. And I do know there are a lot of widows who do not date again because they are afraid of losing someone again. And when Joel and I first dating, we discovered that this was still kind of an issue when, he's a pilot. And one time, like he didn't call me when he landed and I flipped out. Like I thought he died. Like it was this whole thing. And then we realized and we talked through it. Now I have a way to track him while he's flying. So it's all good.
Because I'll find you.
Yes, I will always find him. I'm a little bit of I wouldn't say stalker, but I can find people. And
stalker-esque.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just
so
kidding.
I we realized through that experience that I do have this great fear of loss. Like kind of sometimes, and it's in that article that I posted before of, and I'll put another link to it, to Love a Widow, that thing I read before, that I had sent to Joel right when we started dating, that sometimes you have an extreme fears. And so the fear of him dying. And so we were able to get the app so I can now see when he lands. And then I've just been able to let that go more and be like, okay, God, you've got him. But not only the fear of death, but and I think Joel did talk about this in his episode, these fears that I have. And then the fear of like, what if something goes wrong between us? And what if, so people sometimes don't love again. But like I always say, it's better to have loved and lost than to never loved at all. And I feel like that's better to love and lost a second time.
Well, and the joy that it brings you is worth it. Even if it's short-lived, the joy that you will receive, especially like, from after going through so much pain of losing someone to like feel love again.
Right. It's amazing.
It's even more like magnified, by just understanding how fragile life can be. Right. And, you have this certain mindset that like, I'm going to be even better this time, and I'm going to love even better, and I'm going to not think about petty things this time around. Right. And, like you just have a different mindset about it. And so it can be a huge blessing to get over that fear, because first of all, I know most of the people listening are believers. God doesn't want us to live in fear.
Right.
God does not want us to live in fear. That is not from God. And something I just wanted to interject real quick is something I want to try to remember to say in all three of these episodes is to encourage you to pray for God to bring you somebody when the time is right.
Yes.
definitely do that. Be praying about it. Be praying for that woman or man.
Yep.
Specifically, not only what you're looking for, God knows your heart, but still tell him what you're looking for, and be praying for that person. That shows that you have faith that that person is out there.
Right.
So be praying for that specific person about their day, about, that God would protect them, that God would keep them safe. And I think that is a good thing. And then also this is probably more for the men, because women tend to not have a hard time finding someone when they're ready. But, it might be a little difficult for men, but like focus on becoming the person that God wants you to be.
Yes.
And not worry so much about the person that you want brought to you.
Exactly. That's so good.
Focus on being the kind of person that will attract the kind of person you're looking for. So those are just a couple of things that I wanted to add in and just remind people of those really powerful truths that I feel like if you put it in God's hands, he will take care of you. And
right.
His timing will be best,
Right. And I said this in the episode with Joel, but I'm going to repeat it again since we're talking about dating, about how I was having a really hard time. And my best friend said to me, and I was crying, where am I going to find my spouse? Where am I going to find my next person? And she's like, give the pen to God and let him write your love story. Like it's the same theme that you're talking about, letting God do it. Yeah. And then not long after that, I started talking to Joel. And so it's really exciting when it comes from God, and that it isn't all of your efforts and like, I have to find somebody, because I know that feeling of like, yes, I want to find somebody because I don't want to be alone. Okay, here's been my biggest fear since Luke died. When my kids leave, I don't want to be alone in my house. Like that's a fear. And my kids will be graduated in 4 years. And so, but you got to let go of that fear. Like it's totally fear.
Aren't you going to get like 8 cats?
I know. I was about to say that I'm the cat lady. I'm wearing a black dress with my hair in a bun, and I got cats all over. Oh, and I'm on Hoarders.
Well, according to your TikTok followers, that's some of them. That's the way you're supposed to live.
Yeah, supposed to live like that if you're a widow, right?
Yeah. So,
but anyways,
yeah. And I would also add on to this too. People are going to think things.
Yep.
Anticipate it and let it go before it even starts, because they're not in your shoes. They're not in your shoes. They do not get a right to an opinion about what you should be doing with your life. You did not choose this. Like we've said before, you did not choose this life. This is your life in your timing when you're ready, not what anybody else thinks you should or shouldn't be doing. Yeah, go ahead.
You're going to get people that say, aren't you going to start dating again? And people like, it's too soon to start dating. Like you're going to get both of those. But only like one of my pet peeves, and I've only had a few people say it to me, is like, oh, if my husband died, I would not get remarried. You just have to like give them grace and be like, and I have said, it's only been 2 people I can think of. And I have said to them, well, you don't know like what it's like to be in this place, but just let it go. Because they
let it go.
Let it go. That was really on key. But it's like, just give people grace again, because they don't mean to, but that is a pet peeve of mine. Like I just
don't get it though, because I could never do that. I would be happy for anybody, depending, you know what I mean? Like, again, for sake of privacy, I won't mention any names, but somebody that's close to me went through a divorce and like started dating someone pretty shortly after, and it wasn't his fault. He tried, he was being cheated on and all these other things. And, a lot of people were really offended when he started dating somebody, and they got married in a very short period of time. Like within 9 months they were married. Yeah. And he still to this day is like crazy happy. And I remember telling him like how happy I was for him. Yeah. And just, I don't know. And so it's like, I just don't relate to the people who decide to go out of their way to give you their opinion that you did not ask for, right? But that's okay. That's a whole nother thing.
I know, right?
Yeah, I know, right? So moving on. So I'd say another sign is if you meet somebody and you can picture a future with them. And that's not, true. I would say, this is what I'm reading. I'm all
no, that's good though. That's good.
Sorry, Mr. Stumpner. Is that what it was?
I don't know. Sumter. I don't
know. Sorry, Sumter.
He'll
Sorry,
get
sir,
credit.
who's not listening.
Right.
So if you can see a future with that person, if you are interested in dating them, I'd say that's a sign. So that's what it says on here next.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
If you're with, okay, so let's say you go through this and you start like, okay, I think I could date. But if you go out on a date and it makes you sick to your stomach, and it's not just the person, it's just the thought like, oh, this makes me feel like I'm cheating, then you're not ready, you know?
Yes. Yes.
But at least you're ready. You gave it a try. And
Yeah.
then you can see from there.
Yep.
And only you will know when you're ready.
And I believe if you're praying about it, you're going to get confirmation when that person comes along. You're going to get confirmation that this is him, this is her, because this is what you've been praying about, you know,
Right.
kind of a thing. And I feel like that when the right person comes along, it'll be in that. Not only will it be the right person, it'll be in God's right timing.
Right.
And so
right.
I believe that when that person comes into your life, while it still may be difficult, you'll know, and then, you know, you can pursue those feelings, I guess, if you will. Sorry, I kind of ran into a dead end with what I wanted to say a little bit.
Well, I
you ever do that? You just start saying something, you're
Uh-huh.
like, I don't know how to wrap this up.
No, it's good. But I got a little story time.
All right, story time, ladies and gentlemen. Gather around.
Very first time that I was alone with a man, it was a friend that I'd known like my whole life. He's single. And we had texted a little bit, I think. Then we moved to talking on the phone. We were just friends. Like I was not interested in him, like dating him. You know, been friends forever. And we met up and went on a walk. And I didn't tell one person, maybe my best friend, but I didn't tell anybody. Like it felt so weird to me. Like he's not from the area. He was visiting and we met at this place. And like, I felt so weird, but yet I loved it. Like, and he was just a friend and it wasn't like that, but it was just this new experience, you know, because, you know, Luke and I were very big up. We're not like alone and hanging out with people of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Married.
Right. Yeah. It's inappropriate.
Right. And so it was a very strange feeling, but I remember, so if you're like keeping it a secret, it's okay. Like, I didn't tell my kids. Well, my kids, you know, they track me just like I track them. And they were like, you were at this trail. And I was like, yep, I was with a friend. And they didn't ask anymore. So
nice.
I didn't tell them. I didn't tell anybody.
But you said he's just a friend.
But something.
Oh, baby, you.
Oh, we're so good. Got what I need. When you say, okay.
You had it. That's great.
All right.
Oh my gosh, that was good.
Someday,
yeah, sorry.
you got to count.
You know, I can't let it go.
I wasn't
when I hear a song pop up.
I know. I wasn't thinking about that. But anyways, the point of me sharing this story is it's okay. Like if you don't want to tell anybody, like it's okay.
Totally. It's your business.
Yeah. And the other thing I didn't tell anybody, surprise to those who don't know it. So I never, well, I can't say never. In the beginning, I never did like a dating app, but I did Facebook dating. And I felt more comfortable with that because it would be like mutual friends, like you have mutual friends. And so I would ask, it's like a whole thing on Facebook. If you don't know about it, you click on the dating button and then you can connect with mutual friends, like you have mutual friends or not. If you don't want anybody to know, then you don't do that. But what I would do is like connect with somebody, then I'd ask the person who knows them about. So I felt a little bit better about that.
So like they could be, you could do like a background check on them. So
exactly. Kind of like, okay, what do you think about this person? And, you know, even one of them was like, oh, he must've got a divorce. He's on there. Yeah, we connected. She's like, shoot, we were praying for him to, you know, they were in our Bible study. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's really fresh. Let me move on. But like, you could kind of get insight. But I don't know the point of that, just to say like, whatever you're doing is fine. And if you want to keep it a secret, like I did, and it was true when people would ask, how did you meet this person? I would say mutual friend, because there would always be a mutual friend. So I didn't have to be like a dating app, you know. And
I would go one step further than that.
Let's go further. What?
Let's go further. It's not a secret. It's your business.
Ooh,
you know, and I use this example, like, and sorry, this is kind of crass, but you know, we're all grown-ups. I can see the age of our audience. You don't call somebody and tell them about when you went to the bathroom. You know, there's certain things that are,
What?
Maybe I should. What have I been doing
Don't call
wrong
me
this whole
and tell
time?
me that.
Wait, do you? Never mind. I was gonna say, if you put pictures on Instagram,
Oh my gosh, stop.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, but just saying that like it's okay for, and I just use this example. It's in the extreme, but
Well, that's really good.
but
'cause
you'll understand what I'm saying, that like some things
I like
are
it.
okay for you to keep to yourself.
That's good.
Some things are okay. You don't tell somebody about every thought you have. Like you don't share everything you do with everybody, or there's some things you think about or whatever you don't share with anybody. They're just your own private thoughts. Or your private, bathroom time.
Oh my
Just kidding.
Stop.
Sorry. Hey, you do a podcast with a man. I'm sorry. I
I
find
know.
stupid things funny. But just say no, but just being real, like it's not a secret. It's privacy. You don't owe it to anybody to tell them you're dating somebody, because first of all, what if you are just experimenting with dating and
Right.
you think that this guy's great, or this girl's great or whatever, and then it ends up not working out, and thank God you didn't tell 400 people or whatever, because
Exactly.
like now you have to go tell them, never mind, it didn't work out or whatever. So if you want to, that's great. But if you don't want to, you're not keeping a secret. You're
That's a
allowed to
really
have
good
your
point.
own privacy, like you don't owe it to anybody. You're a grown-up. This is your business. You tell people about it when you're ready to tell people about it. There's no expectation for you to tell anybody. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I wish that I would have known that. Like I felt like I was keeping a secret because I didn't tell my kids, and but I wasn't right. They weren't ready for that at that point, to even know I was like with a man,
Right. And if you do feel obligated to tell anybody, like family members or anything like that, before you move forward, that's okay too. But I'm just saying, if you're like, if you don't want to tell anybody, but you're feeling guilty because you feel like you're keeping a secret, I just want to like relieve you from that, because you're not.
That's good. That's
I don't
really
tell
good.
everybody. I don't go around telling people if my kids got in trouble and they had to go,
Right.
clean the room as punishment or whatever. Like I don't call everybody and be like, hey, guess what?
Right.
Like there's certain things that it's just okay, that it's your business. And
That's so good.
that's how I try to be pretty transparent on here, but there's a lot of things I don't share with the audience, of course, because I have my own privacy. You know what I mean? So don't worry. I see you already thinking I'm about to make another joke. I'm not. But just, I don't know. I just felt led to tell that to people.
That's really
because
good.
It's your life. It's your life.
Do what you want. There's a song.
I knew there was a song I was thinking of. I couldn't process it fast enough.
Do what you want. Something, something, something.
But
that's good stuff.
It's important for you to know that, because you don't owe anything to anybody. You've already been through so much. And so if you're trying to find some happiness, good for you. Good for you. You deserve to find some happiness. If you feel like, oh my gosh, like I just want to find some happiness again, but I'm not sure how people will think of this or whatever, then don't worry about it. You find your happiness on your own and you keep it to yourself. And if anybody finds out somehow, you still don't have anything to feel bad about. This is still your life.
Right.
So
good. So good.
I was about to bust into an Eminem song, but I realized it's not audience appropriate.
Not many of his songs are.
No, they're not. Sorry.
That's good. Do you have anything else on this?
No,
I think
I just wanted to leave everyone in suspense.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. No, I don't.
I think that we covered it on signs that a widow is ready to date again.
Yes. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I'm sure there's more too, but this is just kind of a little list, and everybody's different. Like there's just like parenting. You can't say this is exactly how you parent, because each child is different. And like each of our situations is different, but these are some good general things. And
and another thing I would like to add is don't settle. Don't settle.
Yes.
Do not settle. Do not settle just because you're lonely. Do not settle. Like you make sure that this person is exactly who you want, what you're looking for. And if it's not, then don't be afraid to move on. And, even if you got deceived, which I know happens with women a lot,
Oh yeah.
don't feel stuck. Don't feel like, I don't know. It's especially hard if you've been in a great marriage and then someone else comes along that's like, not as great or whatever. You'd be tempted to like stay anyways because it feels good to have companionship or whatever, I would imagine. And
Right.
I would just say, like, don't do that. Like, don't settle. Like you're worth having happiness again. You're worth having joy again. And if it takes a little longer, then it takes a little longer. But in the long run, you're going to be really happy that you waited for that right person. And when
That's
they come
good.
along, you will be sitting on top of the world.
That's right.
So yeah. Anyways,
It's really good. Don't
let's give
settle.
them something
to talk about. Oh, we're good. A little mystery to figure out.
You knew more of that song than I did. That's not
How
fair.
about love? I really got it. I mean, I was owning it.
Wow. I think we
That's
need to
the
start
problem.
a whole new podcast.
Like a sing. Haley's always like, stop. We got our voice from daddy, not from you. I'm like, I know, but I was wanted to be a singer. Like I wasn't blessed with the voice you guys were, okay? But I have the heart for it.
By the way, when I re-listened to last week's episode we recorded, for Michelle has me re-listen to them to make sure they sound good and stuff before we release them. And
like I make
gosh,
you.
Haley,
She
well,
has
you know
me
what I
listen
mean?
to you.
Has
Okay.
me, asks
Okay.
me to. Is
Okay.
so polite in the way that she asks me if I could please listen to the episode to review it. Anyways, I worded that wrong. I'm sorry. But
Okay,
the
go
point
ahead.
was Haley has the most beautiful voice.
Thank
I've heard her
you.
sing before. But hearing her sing that song, My Boyfriend's Back, like it's a very different tempo than I've heard her sing before.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of energy in it. And I was like, man, that girl's really good.
Yes, thank you. She on that note, she's in her, like, it's called varsity choir. So you already have to try out for that. And then next year they're doing an ensemble, which is only 16 people, and she just made it into that for next year.
No way.
Very exciting. Lots of good.
That is
and
exciting.
She's writing more
cool.
songs. She was writing a song last night, and anyways, yeah, it's exciting.
But one thing I will say that I learned from last week's episode that was wrong, totally wrong.
What's wrong?
Was me praying first and then you doing the
I know,
outro.
it was weird.
It was just
we can't do it
no
that
flow,
way.
no
okay,
flow.
Good. Thank
Terrible.
you. I didn't like that either.
I honestly just forgot how we did it. Because
Really?
it was so like last season.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, because that was our 43rd episode, and
Yeah,
you
I
didn't
just
know
forgot.
yet.
I forgot how it goes.
Anyway.
So I just rolled with it. So anyways, so why don't you
wrap it
close
up.
us out? Yeah.
No, you okay. Do we need to go over this?
Oh wait.
You pray and then I talk, like we've done for almost every episode. Last week you
Really?
did the opposite. Yes, go back and listen.
Sorry, I guess I'm confused again.
You always pray, and then as soon as you're done praying, I'm like, if you like this episode,
Okay.
I'm serious.
I believe you. I just think this is such a funny conversation for people to have to listen to.
I know, because usually we're not recording when we're talking about these kind of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Keeping it real.
Okay, so
So usually
sorry. Yes.
you pray.
Okay, so I'm praying.
You pray, and then
That's where we're
you'll
at.
get
Okay.
you'll feel the flow.
It's when you pray. Pray. Do you remember that song? I think it was
pray
MC
just
Hammer.
to make it today.
Yes. Yes. No, that was too legit to quit. The last part you did. Too legit. Too legit to quit.
Hey. Oh yeah, I mixed the songs.
People are like, just get to the prayer already.
I mean, we've done so many songs this episode. It's probably a record.
Yes, probably.
And we
Well,
weren't
we
even
wanted to
trying.
start season 2 off with a bang. So I'm gonna pray. Okay.
Okay.
Are you good? Father God, I just I thank you so much for just this opportunity to speak to people and just hopefully give people some hope and some advice that, I just pray that only the stuff from you would resonate with people's hearts, because we don't want to misdirect anybody and we just do our best. So Lord, I pray that you would encourage everybody listening that if they are in this place of wanting to date again, that you would ease their mind about, letting them know they're not doing anything wrong and that they didn't choose this. And I just pray that you give them great peace in their hearts about it. You're such a good God to us. And I pray for restoration and redemption for every single person listening right now, God. I pray that you would just cover us all with your redemptive love. You're just such a good God. And I pray specifically also over Michelle's ministry, Lord, that you would take it and run away with it and just do your work through it, do work for the kingdom. Oh, you're such a good God, Lord. Just watching these things unfold has been great. I know this will bless the community in many ways and give opportunities for people to learn more about you. And I pray that you would use it for your kingdom purposes. And I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. If you liked this episode, we'd love it if you give it a little bing, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. If you'd like to be a guest, be our guest. I just went ahead because you're always going to sing it. If you'd like to be our guest, go ahead and email us. Or if you have anything you want to say to us, widowedtoosoonm@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Facebook. This group is growing like crazy. Widowed Too Soon _ maybe just look for Widowed Too Soon.
No, just Widowed Too Soon.
Okay, on Facebook. I forget because Instagram's Widowed Too Soon _ It's hard to remember all the places we are. But we will get back to you. Mark is so good about getting back to people on Facebook. We still have some emails to get back to, so working on that. And if we don't get back to you, no, we want to. Just sometimes life comes up and we don't always get to it. But we appreciate each one of you. There's been a lot of great feedback in the last week.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's been a huge blessing. Yeah. Thank you for letting us know you listen. Thank you for sending us your encouragement and sharing your stories with us. Every single thing gets read.
It does.
We read every single thing that comes across that page. Just, we're busy with life. So a lot of times we don't have the ability to respond, but we try our best. Right. So please reach out to us. Let us know you're listening. And sorry, I didn't mean to take it away, Michelle. Go ahead.
That's okay. And I've noticed a lot of people coming into the Widowed Too Soon page and going to that welcome part and introducing themselves. So please keep doing that. I haven't responded to the last few, but I want to know that I see them. Sometimes, honestly, I forget when I move on to the next thing, but I see them, and we are appreciative of all of your comments, and we do hear your stories. And I try to remember when I see a new person to pray for them right then.
Yep, me too.
Yeah. So know you're being prayed for. And even if you don't hear back from us, we care and we're praying for you. So thank you so much for listening to this season 2 episode. And we'll see you again next time. Have a great week.
God bless you. Thank you.
Bye.